What is up, guys? Today we're going to be talking about the best Samsung Galaxy budget smartphones, and we're going to be staying in the price range of $200 to $300, so we're not going over $300. So first off is the Samsung Galaxy M20. So this is an awesome smartphone, really for its battery life. So I want to start there first. What makes it stand out is the 5,000 milliamp battery. Very impressive. You can easily get 2 days of battery life, no problem. If you're a light user, you also have that 15-watt fast charging as well. Now the phone itself, it is a plastic body, but it had a really nice weight to it, very premium feeling device. You do have a PLS TFT display on here, which to me looked great. You have a 6.3 inch display. It is 1080p. 409 for the PPI, so very sharp. You do have Android 9 on top of One UI as well. Now this has the Exynos 7904 processor along with the Mali G71, which is fine for medium setting gaming, so no problem there with speed in the One UI is just fine. What I love about this is you have micro SD support up to 1 terabyte, so you can put all the music and movies or whatever you want on here, no problem. You do have 32 gigs of storage and 3 gigabytes of RAM. Now this does actually have a dual camera setup, and what I love is that you have a 13 megapixel camera, but they left that ultra wide in there, so you have a nice ultra wide 5 megapixel. They shoot in 1080p both the front and the back, and you'll get some very nice photos. Samsung has some of the best image processing, especially on their budget phone, so I wouldn't worry about that. Now you do have a headphone jack as well as Dolby Atmos, so that's always nice to have, along with USB Type-C. The fingerprint scanner is rear mounted and it's very fast, so overall this is an excellent phone if you really care about battery life. Now next is the Samsung Galaxy Note 8, coming in at $280, and you can find this even cheaper on eBay, but if you want to be safe, you can buy it on Amazon. Links will be down below. This still has some excellent specs and is very capable. I put this on the list because I wanted to have a unique smartphone at a kind of a budget price. So starting off with the hardware, you still have a premium design, aluminum frame, front and glass back, very nice. It's IP68, dust and water resistant, and of course you get the Samsung stylus, which is very nice. One of the best things about the Note series is the display. So you have a Super AMOLED display, a 6.3 inch. It's a 1440p display, 521 for the PPI. One of the best panels you can get still. Samsung still makes some of the best displays on the market. It's an always on display. Now this does have Android 9 even for an older phone, which is awesome, and the Note lineup has a great developer community, so I think this could still get a port to Android 10 if you rooted the phone. So this still has a very capable Snapdragon 835 processor along with the Adreno 540, and that will change up depending on if it's a US or a Chinese model. Then you would get the Exynos version. So you do have micro SD support up to 1 terabyte along with 64 gigabytes of storage and 6 gigs of RAM. So this is definitely still fast for being an older phone. You will be able to play games and everything just fine. Extremely capable. So you do have really great cameras on here as well. A 12 megapixel wide and a 12 megapixel telephoto lens. I wish they opted in for the ultra wide, but you may prefer the telephoto lens, I don't know. So you do have an 8 megapixel wide as well, and these take some still great photos, very capable for late 2019, 2020. You're gonna get some nice quality photos. Along with that headphone jack, you do have Bluetooth 5.0 and NFC on board, along with the USB Type-C, so all of your up-to-date specs are on here. You even have the iris scanner and the fingerprint scanner mounted on the rear. You also have the Samsung DeX desktop experience support as well, so if you're into that, that can be very cool. You do have a non-removable 3300 milliamp battery along with 15-watt fast charging and wireless charging as well. Next is the Galaxy A20 for $187. Now this is an excellent smartphone. One of the things that stand out with this phone at this price point is definitely the Super AMOLED display. So you have a 6.4 inch display. It is a 720p display, 268 for the PPI, but it's a very nice display. Now the build quality is plastic, but it still has a really nice weight to it. It feels very premium, does not feel like a plastic phone. So that's really nice. On top of that, you do have Android 9 with the One UI and the Exynos 7884 processor, along with the Mali G71. Be sure to check out my gaming video I did on the channel. This plays games smooth. One UI is very smooth as well. You have all those features in there, the multitasking, pop-up view, everything you would want pretty much. You do have micro SD support up to 1 TB and 32 gigs of storage with 3 GB of RAM. So you have plenty of storage on here. You can, like I said, you can expand that to 1 TB. Now, the most impressive thing with this phone is the camera. So this actually had better cameras than I thought. So you have a 13 megapixel wide and a 5 megapixel ultra wide. They shoot in 1080p, and you have a single 8 megapixel selfie camera. Now the back cameras are very impressive. They're very color accurate. They give off a lot of detail, and they're pretty sharp. Dynamic range is great as well for this price point. Overall, I was really impressed with the cameras on here. They were able even to go toe-to-toe with my Galaxy S10e, which is very impressive. So the front-facing camera, it lacks a little bit of detail. It is very soft, but it's still decent for this price point. You do still have the 3.5mm jack, Bluetooth 5.0, along with NFC as well as the USB Type-C. Now, another highlight with this phone is the 4000 milliamp battery. So you can get around a day and a half of battery life with this guy, which is pretty impressive. You also have 15-watt fast charging, so you can charge this guy up pretty fast as well. Next is the Samsung Galaxy A10. So this is an excellent smartphone, the cheapest on the list, coming in at $134. Be sure to hit up the links in the description. This is another great phone for $134. I can't really complain with this guy. You can find it even cheaper on eBay as well. So you do have a plastic body still, similar to the A20. Very nice build quality. Samsung build quality is usually great, so I won't worry about this phone breaking too easily. You do have IPS panel on here, 6.2 inches, so it's a pretty nice size phone, along with the 720p display, 271 for the PPI. So we are missing that Super AMOLED on the A20, but at this price point, you really can't complain. Android 9, along with the Exynos 7884 processor, along with the Mali G71, so you can get some pretty decent performance. This is a low to mid chip, so you can get some pretty good, decent gaming performance. I wouldn't go too crazy with gaming on this phone, but you can do it. Micro SD support up to 1 TB is excellent for this price point. You do have 32 gigs of storage and 2 GB of RAM. That's the only thing with this guy. In the future, will this start slowing down? That's the only thing with this. You do have a single 13 megapixel wide, so you are missing that ultra wide, but if you don't really care, it's going to take some great photos with Samsung's image processing. Now, it's not going to be too crazy, but if you're in good lighting, you'll get a good photo. So you do have a 5 megapixel selfie camera, as well as a 3.5mm jack, and you're kind of missing the bells and whistles with this one. It has micro USB, so no USB Type-C, but you also have a pretty nice size 3400 milliamp battery, which will definitely get you through the day. Last on the list is the Samsung Galaxy A50. Now, I use this as my daily driver for I think a few months, and I really loved it. So it comes in at a $280 price point. Now, the price always fluctuates with this one, so be sure to check on that. But you have a what Samsung is calling a glass-stick body, but it's pretty much plastic. It feels like plastic, but it still has a premium feel to it. Very nice weight, so it does not feel cheap. You have that Super AMOLED display, 6.4 inches, very nice size, 1080p, 403 for the PPI, very nice color accurate display. So you have Android 9 with the Exynos 9610 processor, along with the Mali G72 GPU. Is perfectly fine for gaming. I had no issues with gaming, no issues with lagging on this. This is just fine. So you do have micro SD support up to 1 TB, along with 64 gigs of storage and 4 GB of RAM. So the most impressive thing with this phone is the triple camera setup. So you have a 25 megapixel wide, and 8 megapixel ultra wide, and a 5 megapixel depth sensor. Does shoot in 1080p, so no 4K. But the cameras on here are very nice. They take some very nice, sharp and detailed photos. The dynamic range is pretty good. Color accuracy is very good. The ultra wide is pretty decent, and the depth sensor does work. So you also have some very high resolution selfies as well, with a 25 megapixel wide selfie camera that also does shoot in 1080p, and it takes some pretty decent selfie shots. So you have the 3.5mm jack, which is always nice to see, along with Bluetooth 5.0 and NFC as well. Now you do have USB Type-C, which is great, and one of the things I love about this phone is you have the in-display fingerprint scanner, which is really nice at this price point, and that also works pretty good. So you have a pretty big 4000 milliamp battery, which will get me through a day and a half as a light user, which I really like, also with a 15 watt fast charger. So thanks for watching, guys, and I will catch you guys in the next video.